Hey everyone, welcome back to Kearns Customs Garage, and I am your host, David Kearns. Today, we are going to be starting the reassembly of the engine. First on our list is to hone the cylinder walls and reinstall the pistons. If you're new to the channel and want to get caught up on what we've done so far, go check out our other videos here. We do a weekly update to the cost tracker for this project, which we will cover at the end of the video. If you want to check out the full budget, I link a copy of it in the description of the first video. That way you can follow along with the items that still need to be completed or use it as a template for your own project. And with that, let's get started. The tools we need for cylinder honing are going to be a honing stone and a drill. Some people like the dingleberries. I was told they give an uneven wear to the cylinder walls. But full disclosure, I haven't used them before. Let me know in the comments if you guys like the dingleberries more than the flat stones and why. For the piston install, all we need is a piston clamp and a standard ratchet set. Now let's dive into fixing this sucker! When honing the cylinders, you want to make sure that you have some sort of lubricant, either a heavy oil like 10W30 or something similar. We used a silicone spray, which provided some good lubrication, but I think something heavier might have done a little bit nicer job because we kept having to reapply the spray. You can see it doesn't take much to clean the inside of these cylinder walls, so let's knock out the rest of these cylinders and then we'll move on to the install of the pistons. You'll want to make sure that you are rotating the crank around so that way you don't accidentally nick it while you're going back and forth. Obviously, if you've removed the crankshaft, you wouldn't have to worry about that, but here we like to do things the hard way. Now, you aren't going to be removing a ton of material by honing. So if you have deep cuts in your cylinder walls, you'll need to take the block to a shop to have it bored properly. The machines they use there have precise measurements that you can't achieve by hand. And with all the cylinders cleaned up, we can begin installing the pistons. Now, some of you may remember from the last video that we had to scrap the pistons and get new ones. However, our rods were still good, so we had to remove the pins from the old rods and put them on the new piston. Now, the equipment to do that is very expensive, so unfortunately, this was one part we couldn't do ourselves. But that brings me to my next point, the importance of networking. If you guys like cars, look up some local car shows. Even if you don't have something to enter, it'll still be a fun way to see what others have done and vote for your favorite and show. Plus, the car community is pretty close-knit. The guys that did work to their cars all know each other and can recommend what shops they worked with along the way. So we worked with one of our local shops who had the proper rod heater, which that cost us about $100 for all 8. I wouldn't recommend just using a blowtorch on this part to open up the rods and then drop the pins in, mainly because it can create localized areas of heat, which isn't very good for the rods. After we got the pistons back, we put them on the same way they came off, making sure to keep the caps with the rods they came with. We also slapped on the timing chain. Only tips there are just to make sure that the two arrows on the two gears are pointed towards each other while at top dead center. Next, we taped up the engine and started getting ready for paint. We also placed the timing cover and the gasket on. After that, we put on the RVT gasket and the oil pan gasket to get ready for the oil pan. Then we placed the oil pan on and torqued it down. After torquing it down, we put a few more pieces of tape on and called it a day. Make sure you are using the proper torque specs for your engine. You can usually just search Google and find the full sheet for every type of bolt on your engine. I got mine from Summit Racing. Finally had some new costs that we incurred, pistons, rings, the gasket kit, getting the shop to put on the new pistons, and then the honing tool. I already had a piston clamp, but here's the cost for the kit I found at Home Depot. Big shout out to Brian Doggett, who has an excellent visual on the rod heater. He also does a bit better job explaining the importance of using one of these than I do. Another shout out to Cutter's Performance. They have some good information for first time home engine builders. That's it for today. Thanks for joining us. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already to stay up to date when we drop new videos. Tune in next time where we'll be slapping some lipstick on this pig in the form of paint and primer. Comment down below what color you guys think we're going to go with. Once again, this has been David Kearns with Kearns Customs Garage.